London, the financial capital of Europe. London is a special city for so many reasons. One of the world's most populous cities in the world is having a leading role, not just as the capital of the UK, but as the capital of Europe. But let's quickly set that straight. The financial capital, not political capital. It's playing a significantly big role in the global economy today. The exit of Great Britain from the European Union, known as Brexit, has not posed any threat to its position as the financial capital of the global financial centre, according to the chairman of NatWest, NWG.L, Davies. This is contrary to the proposition of the more vocal part of the debate about the future of the city after Brexit. To understand how and why the City of London has managed to remain the financial capital of Europe, it will be nice to go back to memory lane and explore its history. While we do that in this video, we'll be referring to the whole London area. This includes both the City of London, which is a city at the centre of London, and Greater London. London Yesteryears. The city now known as London was believed to have been founded in 47 AD by some Roman invaders who pillaged a place along the banks of the River Thames. They named it Londinium, which was later changed, perhaps through corruption, to London. This city grew rapidly within a century to become an economic hub of Roman Britain. During this time, it survived several other attacks and invasions, and by the 2nd century, the population had grown to some 60,000. By the 1000s, the city had emerged as a major trading hub and the largest city in England. From this point onward, the status it gained economically and politically has given it the chance of handling some 80% and 70% of England's imports and exports respectively. The establishment of the insurance market, Lloyd's of London, in 1686 and the Bank of England in 1694 tightened its economic grip on Europe. Centuries later, London experienced a phase of rapid economic growth brought about by the Industrial Revolution. This brought many different people from different parts of the British Empire and the world to London. The city amassed a lot of wealth during this time in a way it'd not be proud to mention today, as it involved oppression and abuse of different peoples from many parts of the world. The slave trade caused a lot of human suffering, and London was greatly enriched by that inhumanity. By the end of the 19th century, London had become by far the largest city with a population of more than 6.7 million. It has also gained a lot of military and financial powers. Financially, London was second to none, and the closest rivals were Paris and New York. Though the British Empire officially faded away, English, the language of the empire, had grown to become the dominant language of the economy. This kept London in its position as the financial capital of the world. London today beyond financial services. It was thought in some quarters that Brexit will result in a widespread exodus of financial firms from London, but that hasn't happened, and it's quite unlikely. London's grip on the tech industry wouldn't allow that to happen, as the city has the potential to become just as important or even more important. In London today, media and technology have proved to be a much faster growing sector. It's an open secret that there's a multitude of startups and even big tech institutions in the city. For instance, London is and has remained the European headquarters of the tech giants Google and Apple. This is a demonstration of the broad level of long-term confidence that a lot of businesses have in London as the financial capital of Europe. Really, the tech sector is more flexible and vibrant. It's not restricted or even subjected to the red tapeism accompanying the regulations, unlike the finance industry. And when it comes to the legal sector, London also continues to witness an expansion, with many foreign individuals and corporate persons choosing to take their legal disputes to the UK capital. The role of insurance as a long-standing industry in London has been far from diminishing. Vantage position as a world trade city. 3 world cities, and only these, are positioned to trade as a world city thanks to their locations. These are New York, Tokyo, and of course London. Their geographical locations between Asia and North America make them indispensable as one of the command centres for the global economy. Thus, even if the UK left the EU, that isn't likely to affect the status of the United Kingdom's capital as a financially influential city in Europe. Europe's attempt to bypass London is to its disadvantage and the advantage of North America and Asia. This explains the most recent ranking in the Schroders Global Cities Index, where London was ranked very high among the most attractive cities in the world to invest in over the next decade. It ranked second only to Los Angeles. The experts behind the ranking considered London's highly developed transport infrastructure. The city is home to Europe's busiest airport, London Heathrow. The city's cultural appeals, including museums, theatres, art galleries, plus very many open spaces and parks, would always attract so many people from Europe and beyond to the city. Home to several world-class universities. There are many world-class universities in London. It's a city with one of the highest concentrations of universities and higher institutions in the world. Educational institutions such as the University College London, Imperial College, King's College and the London School of Economics, among others, brought the student population in London alone to about 500,000, and these are from almost all countries. Students from EU countries may have to scale the same hurdles as students from other parts of the world to be admitted to a London school, no thanks to Brexit. Yet increasing numbers of students from China and other Asian countries are more than making up for any potential decline in the enrolment of EU students in London educational institutions. The English language is a factor here. The implication of this is that the education sector has now become such an important part of London's economy, as many international students and tutors are yearly moving to the city. In fact, the government would be unwilling to place any restrictions on foreign students so that the economic viability of the sector can be maintained. Well-educated workforce. Contrary to what has been said earlier about London as the home to world-giant educational institutions, London, the biggest city in Europe, has continued to attract and retain talented and educated people. Those who've come to train in the city have got satisfying jobs that can pay for the high skills they've acquired. Other talented individuals seeking employment or business opportunities have been able to find these here. A recent year's data has it that more than 56% of London residents are university graduates. Compare this with about 33% in cities in the northeast region of Britain and get the full implication. Subsequently, these higher quality graduates have continued to strengthen London's economic position as they usually land higher paying jobs and increase positive demand in the city. Expanding transport network. There has never been a better time to choose London as Europe's financial capital and set up a business there as the transport system keeps expanding. While other developed economies are replicating the city's transport structure, London has continued to expand and improve upon what it had. The city's extensive public transport system, which encompasses buses, trains, underground, trams and riverboats, is expanding. Not quite long ago, when the former Prime Minister Boris Johnson was the Mayor of London, he launched a cycle hire scheme known as Boris Bikes. It's now facilitating the movements of business and business people within the metropolis. The arrival of the Crossrail that connects the City of London too is making big differences in this movement. The new 117-kilometre Crossrail runs through London, moving from Reading in the west and connecting Abbey Wood and Shenfield in the east. The new high-speed line, known as the Elizabeth Line, not only speeds up the journey time, but also expands the capacity of London's public transport network, opening up the city to its outer suburbs. It's now clear that Brexit, notwithstanding the ever-increasing population of London due to reasons not limited to the ones mentioned here, will continue to consolidate the economic growth of the city with about 22% of the UK's overall GDP. No wonder Forbes magazine recently declared London as the world's single most influential city, with the likes of New York, Paris and Singapore trailing. Do you have other proof to corroborate or contradict the assertion that London is the financial capital of Europe? We'd be willing to have your comments. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment and turn on the notification bell. This is Learning Canteen.